Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a poem, and this is a poem from the same book, Flamingo. This is poem number 2, and the name of the poem is An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, written by Stephen Spender. Now, Stephen Spender was actually an English poet and an essayist also, and he left University College Oxford without taking a degree, and then he went to Berlin in 1930. And Spender took a keen interest in politics and declared himself to be a socialist and pacifist. Books by Spender include poems of dedication, edge of being, the creative element, the struggle of the modern, and an autobiography, world within world. Now, these two lines are very, very important when we are going to read this poem. This is the introduction that is given, and this is the introduction. What is written? An elementary school classroom in a slum. The poet has concentrated on the theme of social injustice and class inequalities. Now, this is very important to understand that what is written here. Stephen Spender has actually written something about what? About the theme of social injustice, because he wants to show us that there is a lot of injustice that is going on in our society, and there are class inequalities also, because some people, they are really poor, some people, they are overly rich, excessively rich, and so many different kind of you can say differences are to be seen between people. And these differences, sometimes they actually become a kind of disease for the society, and these should be reduced as soon as possible. And the poor people should also be given some kind of good education, some better health facilities, and the other civic amenities should also be provided to these people. So the theme of this poem is social injustice, that there is injustice going on in the society, and between people or among people there are inequalities, because some are poor, some are rich, and there are so many other differences between the people. And then he says, before you read, he wants to ask a question. Have you ever visited or seen an elementary school in a slum? What does it look like? Now, we have to go back to the name of the poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. Now, we need to understand what is the meaning of these words. Elementary means a primary school where primary classes will be taken or will be held. And what is the meaning of slum here? Slum generally means dirty settlements. Dirty settlements, or maybe kacha houses which are not being built properly, which would be called as dirty settlements. These are called as slums. So this poet, Stephen Spender, what he had done, he visited an elementary school, he visited a primary school. But this school actually was located in a slum area, in a dirty settlement, in a very slum area. And when he reached there, he saw that the school and the children, they were in pathetic condition. They were suffering a lot, and they were in a miserable condition. Now, what actually happened after that? The first line of the poem, I am going to read it. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. Now, we need to understand so many different things in the poem. And first of all, I want to grab your attention towards these three words. Far, far from. It means, because far sound is being repeated here again and again, it means that this is alliteration. Far, far from, fur sound is being repeated again and again, and it means that alliteration is used by the poet in the first line, in the first three words. Why? Because he wanted our attention, and he wanted that the people, the readers, should understand that the children of these schools, these slum areas, and the children who are studying, the students of this school, elementary school, they are far away, they are actually devoid of any amenity, because they are not able to go and enjoy natural beauty. So that is why he has written far far from gusty waves. What is the meaning of gusty here? Gusty means strong, you can say very strong powerful waves. And what is the meaning of waves here? He is talking about the waves of the sea, of the ocean. So that is why he has written that he wants to tell us that the children who are students of this elementary school, and which elementary school is located in this slum area in dirty settlements, जिसको हम झुग्गी झोंपड़ियाँ बोलते हैं हिंदी में, slums को. So the children who are studying in this school, they are far away, means they did not have the opportunity to see the natural beauty. They never had the opportunity, they never had the chance to go near a coastal area. They never had this chance to have those gusty waves, you can say, touch their faces. जब हम समंदर के किनारे जाते हैं, a lot of, you can say, waves would be moving, and these waves would touch your body also. These gusty waves, these strong powerful waves were not seen, were not felt and experienced by these children of a slum, because they never got a chance. So that is why he has written far far from gusty waves. These children's faces, means these children, they never had the chance to enjoy the natural beauty. They never had the chance to go near a coastal area, to enjoy a sea beach. Like rootless weeds, again another poetic device is used here. And what is that poetic device? You should know that whenever we are comparing two things with the help of you, like or as, it means that this is a simile. So please underline this word, like rootless weeds. And why like? Because he wanted that these two things should be compared. And whenever we use as or like, it means this is a simile. Simile. So like rootless weeds. Now he wanted to tell us that the faces of the children, the face of the child was actually very much similar, very much, you can say, looked like the rootless weeds. Rootless means because the faces of these children are so weak, they are so, you can say, pale, they are so weak and bloodless that these children and their faces, they seem to be unwanted part of the society. Why weeds? Weeds actually means here the plants which are not required in a garden. So unwanted plants are called as weeds. Please underline this word weeds and write down the meaning in your books only, that weeds means unwanted plants. So he says that the faces of these children, they look like rootless weeds. They look like the plants which are, you can say, thrown away out of the garden because they are unwanted. In the same way, these children are the part of society which is unwanted, means the society does not like the people of slum, they does not like the poor people, they does not like these people to be the part of society, and they always want to throw these people out. That is why they are unwanted parts of the society, like the weeds are unwanted plants in a garden. The hair torn round their pallor, and when you would look at the faces of these children, their hair are torn. Hair are torn means that they have their hair which are covering the best part of their face, and they are not, you can say, combed well, कंघी नहीं की गई है, and वो बिखरे पड़े हैं उनके चेहरे पे. So their hair are actually covering the most part of their face, and they are scattering around in disorder. They are not ordered, they are not combed, बनाए नहीं गए हैं, and they are in a disorderly manner. They are, you can say, flowing on their eyes. They are actually moving here and there. hair torn round their pallor. Now this is again very important word. Pallor generally means pale colored, but hair pallor means their pale faces. Pale means yellow colored, bloodless faces. उनके फीके जो चेहरे हैं, they are called here as pallor. So the hair torn round their pallor means their hair, uncombed hair, scattered hair, they are covering the most part of their face, and these faces are pale. These faces are very weak. The tall girl with her weighed down head. Then he noticed when he entered the class of this slum area of this elementary school, he saw that there are some children with hair scattering around their faces, and these children's faces look like weeds, unwanted in this society, and full of pale color. They are bloodless, they are dull. And then he noticed that there was a tall girl, and this tall girl was having a weighed down head. Please underline this word, weighed down. Weighed down means she was really depressed due to burden. Now she was depressed. Why? Because of her poverty, because she as a child had to go to work. She was doing a lot of hard work. Not only she was depressed physically, but she was depressed mentally also. That is why she was not happy with herself, and she had a weighed down head. Weighed down here means overburdened head, because she had a lot of burden of work. She had to go through a lot of sufferings. वो बहुत ज़्यादा दुखी है. That is why she had a weighed down head, because of the depression, because of the sadness. And then he saw the paper seeming boy. Now he has written paper seeming boy. Again, a simile is used here, but without as or like. But what is the meaning? That the boy which was there sitting in the class, he looked like paper. Why paper seeming? Because the poet wants to tell us that the boy was so weak, lean and thin. He was so malnourished. He was so weak that he looked like paper, and that is why paper seeming boy is written for him, because of his thin body. Then he says, reciting a father's gnarled disease. Now what? Sorry, with rat's eyes. Now this boy, paper seeming boy, was having rat's eyes. Why rat's eyes? Because the poet actually wants to tell us that the boy had, you can say, eyes which were very small, and he was searching for something. His rat's eyes here means that he was hungry. He was searching, like a rat would go here and there searching for something, and maybe fearful also. हमेशा चूहा डरा रहता है. In the same way, this boy, who was a paper seeming boy, who was very lean and thin and malnourished, he was having those eyes which were very fearful and timid also. कायर जिसको हम बोलते हैं. So he was very timid, he was very fearful, frightened, and his why rat's eyes? Because he had eyes like rats. So please underline rat's eyes here, because this is a metaphor. And what is the meaning of metaphor? This is another poetic device like simile. Simile में क्या होता है? We compare two different things with the help of as or like. But when we don't use as or like, and without using as or like, we are comparing two different things which are very dissimilar, then we generally call it a metaphor. metaphor. So metaphor is used here because he has not said that his eyes looked like rat's eyes. He has written rat's eyes, with rat's eyes, because this is a metaphor, it means. So the paper seeming boy was having rat's eyes, means he was searching. Why rat's eyes? Because as a rat, he was also searching for something, because he was hungry, because he was looking for some chance. He looked for opportunity like a rat would be approaching his life with. And fearful also. The stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones reciting a father's gnarled disease. What happened now? Then the poet Stephen Spender noticed that there was another boy who was sitting in his chair in his seat. The stunted, what is the meaning of stunted? Stunted means somebody who would not have got the you can say body completely developed. Underdeveloped body would be called as stunted, because this stunted boy whose body, जिसको हम बोलते हैं बोना, who was not able to grow according to his age. So the stunted boy, the underdeveloped boy, unlucky heir. And this boy was actually unlucky, called here unlucky, unfortunate. क्यों बोला उसको? Because his hair of twisted bones, because he was the heir. Now this word is very important. What is the meaning of heir? H-E-I-R. H is silent here. And what is the meaning of heir? Heir generally means successor. Successor means somebody who is going to be the inheritor, जिसको वारिस बोलते हैं हिंदी में. So he is the heir, he is the inheritor of twisted bones, means he is the inheritor because he has been unlucky. Why? Because he has got this disease, a gnarled disease he has got from his father. Generally the people, the children, they get a lot of property, they get a lot of wealth and money as inheritor, but this child is so unlucky that he has not got that wealth from his parents as inheritor, but he has inherited as a successor a disease. He has got twisted bones, means he is suffering from twisted bones, means his bones are bent and turned. टेढ़ी टांगे हैं, bones are you can say twisted, and reciting a father's gnarled disease. And he was reciting means he was reading his chapter from his seat. Father's gnarled disease means it actually looks as if this child, this stunted child, this unlucky heir of twisted bones, this child was singing, or maybe he was telling us that he has got nothing from his parents, but he has got a disease. He has inherited this disease from his parents, and this generally called as here as gnarled, G-N-A-R-L-E-D. G is silent here, and please underline this word gnarled. And gnarled is a disease where the joints, they would get swollen. Write down swollen joints and rough skin would be called as gnarled disease. Gnarled is a disease where the joints of the legs, they would get swollen and the skin would get rough. So rough skin and swollen joints are generally called as gnarled disease. So this boy is so unlucky that he has inherited nothing from his parents. He had got no property, no building, no money, but he has got a disease, and that disease was called as gnarled disease because his bones are twisted. Then his lesson from his desk, means he was reciting his lessons from his desk. He was reading his chapter from the desk, from his own seat. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. Then Stephen Spender noticed that there was another boy, but he was unnoted till now. Why unnoted? Because of the dim class. So it actually shows us that it was an ill-equipped class. E-Q-U-I-P-P-E-D. What is the meaning of ill-equipped? Because there was no proper lighting inside the classroom. It was a dull classroom. It was a hazy classroom. It was an ambiguous atmosphere inside the class. And because of that dim light, because of that darkness inside the class, the poet Stephen Spender, he could not see that there was another child sitting at the back bench. And now he noticed him. But till now he was unnoted. That is why he has written one unnoted, sweet and young. But this child who was unnoticed because of the dim class, because of the ill-lit class. Ill-lit means I-double-L-L-I-T. Ill-lit class. It was an ill-lit class. So he noticed that there was a child who was sitting in the ill-lit class, in the ill-equipped or dim class or dark class, but this child was said to be a sweet and young one. He was very sweet, he was very young, means he wanted to do something, and what he was doing by sitting at the dim part of the class, at the back of the class, his eyes live in a dream. Now this child is different from all the other children in the classroom. Why? Because he was living, his eyes live in a dream, because he was dreaming, because he was aspiring, because he wanted to do something in his life, because he had dreams, he had a vision different from the others. Of squirrel's game. Now this child was not interested inside the class, and what he was doing, he was looking outside the window of the classroom, and he noticed that there was a squirrel. And the squirrel, जिसको गिलहरी बोलते हैं, the squirrel was actually going inside a tree, and there was a hollow tree. Hollow समझते हो? Because the tree was hollow, there was a lot of empty space inside. So this squirrel was going inside the room, inside that hollow, inside that hole inside the tree, and then it was coming back. So it was playing a kind of game that was being watched by this boy. The boy was watching a squirrel which was playing, because it was going inside the tree and then it was coming out. And this space inside the tree is again called here as tree room. Please underline tree room, because this is again a metaphor, like rat's eyes. ऊपर देखो, I have marked it round. Rat's eyes. Rat's eyes, why? Because his eyes were called here as rat's eyes. Here also tree room. Why? Because this is a metaphor. He has not compared the tree, the space of the tree with the help of as or like. He has written that the child was looking at the squirrel's game in the tree room. Like or as is not used here. It means again metaphor is used here by the poet, and it means that he wanted to compare two things. He wanted to compare the space inside the tree with a room, with the room of a building. So in tree room, other than this, now this line is very important, this phrase, other than this, because this boy is not interested in the class. He wanted to go out, he wanted to enjoy his life, he wanted to watch that squirrel's game, because the squirrel was moving inside that hollow, that tree room, and it was coming out also. So that is why he was not interested in any other things which were inside, going on inside the class. That is why he has written other than this, means he wanted to go and enjoy the life which was outside the class. He was not interested in the class, but he was interested in any other thing which was going on inside the class. He wanted to go out and enjoy his life, and he had dreams, visions also. The second paragraph. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's heads, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, riding all cities. Now this is again very important. On sour cream walls means when this classroom was watched thoroughly, or maybe carefully, by Stephen Spender, he noticed that the classroom was in a pathetic condition. Pathetic. Pathetic means miserable condition. It was in a very bad condition. It was very badly managed. Nobody was taking care of these classrooms, these schools, because he noticed that there were sour cream walls. Now what is the meaning of sour cream walls here? Why sour is written here? Because the poet actually wanted to tell us that a lot of bad smell, a foul, F-O-U-L, foul smell was coming out of the walls. That is why sour word is used here, because the poet wanted to tell us that the walls, they were badly painted. They were badly painted, and the paint which actually became cream now. Cream here means the color, the yellowish, the dull yellow color is generally called as cream color. So these cream colored walls, cream, why? Because they are yellowish, but that is a dull yellow color, and these walls were ill maintained. They were not painted for last many years. There was no paint that was done inside the class, and that is why this paint had started giving a very foul, very sour, very bad smell to the people, to the visitors. So it shows that the schools were ill maintained and they were not painted, they were not looked after by anybody. But on these sour cream walls, donations means, what is the meaning of donation here? The names of the people who had donated something, who had donated some money as charity, those names were written on the walls. The people who had given some money as charity to make these who had given charity to make these classrooms or schools, their names were written, and those names were written under a caption that is donations. Then Shakespeare's head means, on the walls the names of the people who had donated, their names were written. Second thing which was there painted on the walls was Shakespeare's head, means there was a picture of Shakespeare's head. We know that Shakespeare was a great writer and playlist or playwriter in English literature. So his head was there. His head, or his you can say, not his head, means his head was painted on the wall, or maybe his picture was put up on the wall. Why? Because the authorities, they wanted the children to become like Shakespeare, to get motivated by Shakespeare. And Shakespeare here, maybe he symbolized what? He symbolized literature, he symbolized education, he symbolized literary development. Cloudless at dawn. Then there was another picture of a beautiful scenery at dawn. What is the meaning of dawn? DAWN. Dawn is the time of early morning, बिफोर सनराइज. सुबह सूरज उगने से पहले का जो टाइम होता है, मे बी 4:35 in the morning, AM in the morning, that is generally called as dawn. So these means this poet Stephen Spandau, he noticed that there were very badly painted walls, and on these walls there were some names of those people were written who had given some donations. Then there was a beautiful picture of Shakespeare's head that was hanging on the wall. Then he noticed that there was a beautiful scenery also on the wall, which was showing the beautiful sky that was cloudless sky was shown at dawn. At dawn means of early morning time, before sunrise. There you can say a very beautiful picture, a very beautiful scenery of a cloudless sky was also hanging on the wall. It was all or maybe painted on the wall. Then, and it shows, cloudless at dawn shows natural beauty. Shakespeare's head showed literary development, education. Then civilized dome. Now this is very important. Civilized dome riding all cities. And then what actually he noticed, the poet noticed that there was another picture, and it was a picture that was of a civilized dome. Civilized means the civilized people, the Christian or the Hindus or the other people, they have their religious buildings, they have their tombs, like mosque, masjidیں होती हैं, like temples or the churches. These religious buildings or these huge buildings, they have a kind of dome, a round structure on the head of each and every building. So these buildings actually show the development. These symbolize the development of the world. So they are to be found. Here riding is written. Riding here means they are found in all cities. So there was a beautiful building also that was painted on the wall, and it showed the development. It showed the civilized society, or it symbolized civilization. So all these things were painted on the wall. All these pictures were to be seen on the walls of the elementary school classroom in Aslam. Then he noticed there was another picture of Beld, Flari, Tyrolese Valley. Tyrolese Valley is actually located in you can say Austrian Alpine province. There is a country, Austria, and in that country there is a beautiful valley full of flowers, colorful. Thousands of different flowers are to be seen, are to be found in this Tyrolese Valley. So there was a beautiful picture of this Tyrolese Valley also that was hanging on the wall. and the flowers were of different colors, and that is why belled word was used here, because the shape of some of the flowers was like bells. So belled, flowery, Tyrolese valley was there to be seen as a picture. Open-handed map awarding the world its world. Then he noticed, the poet noticed, that there was a map also, and this map was written as open-handed map. And open-handed generally means a big large map made by hand. Now this is very important. Why open-handed map is written? He could write map also only, but why he has used open-handed word? Because he wanted to tell us that these maps are actually made by human beings, because we created boundaries. We have made Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Japan, China, America, because we have, you can say, distributed, we have divided the land into different countries. So that is why open-handed map. But the map that was hanging on the wall of this classroom, that map was also a map which actually showed that the world is big and full of natural beauty. So this open-handed map awarding the world its world. Awarding here means that the world that we have got today, as different countries, more than 200 countries are there in this world. So who distributed this land into different lands, different places, different countries? We. And this open-handed map was actually showing that this is the world that we have made. This is a huge world, and we have divided it into countries, and it is full of natural beauty. And yet, for these children, these windows, not this map, their world. This line is very, very, very important. For these children, these windows, not this map, their world. What is the meaning? That for these children, this map is, you can say, of no use. This map is meaningless. This open-handed map that is hanging on the wall of the classroom, this is meaningless for these children. Why? Because these children, they never had the opportunity to go and see the natural beauty. They never had seen these countries. They never had seen those rivers which were shown on this map, and these mountains. And it means that these children have nothing to do with the beautiful map that was drawn on the wall. They have no relation with that map, because they could not relate themselves, because they had never got the opportunity or chance to go out and enjoy this world. And their world was only the windows, or the things which they could see from their windows. Means their world was not that map that was hanging on the wall, but their world was limited. Their world was limited to the classroom, or to the things which he could see from the windows. So what is written here? And yet for these children, means for these children, this map is not their world. These windows are their world, because their world is limited, and whatever they could see through the windows, that belonged to their world, and not beyond that, because their world was confined to these windows. Their world was limited to these windows of the classroom, and whatever they could see from these windows. Where all their future is painted with fog. Again, a very important line, future painted with fog. And this is again a metaphor. Please underline, painted with a fog. Future is painted with a fog, and it means that this is a metaphor again, because the poet has not said that it seemed as if the future was painted with fog, but he has written without the use of as or like, and it means he has written that the future of these children was painted with fog. It means this is a metaphor again, because he has compared the bleak feature, the sad feature, the dull, the dark future of the children with the fog, because fog also is unclear. because whenever there is fog and mist, जब धुंध पड़ती है, we cannot see anything clearly. That is generally called as vague picture, ambiguous picture. So here also he wants to tell us that the future of these children was unclear. That is why fog word is used here. Please underline fog here and write down unclear or maybe ambiguous. So their life is painted, means their future is painted with fog here, means that their future is unclear. They could not, these children did not have that ability, that an initiative to see how they are going to change their life, what would be their future, because their future is very dull and very dark because of the darkness inside the classroom, and they could not see it like we cannot see anything from due to fog. So it was a metaphor that was used here, and fog here means darkness or maybe mist and so many other things. Last two lines of the second paragraph, page number 93. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far, far from. Again, he has used far, far from, means alliteration, ALLITERATION. Whenever we have the same kind of sound coming from different words in a single line, it is generally called as alliteration. So he has used again alliteration here. The same words are repeated again. This is generally called as repetition also. A narrow street sealed in. Now, these children, they had no relation with the map that was hanging inside the wall, on the walls of the classroom, because their world was limited, their world was confined, and they could not go out of these classrooms, or their world was only the things which they could see through the windows. So that is, and their world was painted with fog, means their world was full of uncertainty. Please underline another word that you can say future is painted, and here it means uncertainty also, because it shows that the children and their life and their future was uncertain. They were not clear. They were not they did not know how they are going to handle the problems of the life, what they are going to do with their life, what would be their future. They had no, you can say, idea about it. Now the last two lines, a narrow street sealed in with a lead sky. Now the life and the you can say world of these children was limited, and that is why the poet has written here a narrow street, means when from these windows they could see outside, they were not able to see anything, but there was a street that was a narrow street, means a very narrow street was to be seen, means their world was very small, their world was very lean and thin, and it was not a wide world. Sealed in with a lead sky. Sealed in means, and if they would see upwards, means sealed in here means closed, or their world was shut with a lead sky, and their world was, if they would look upwards, they would find a lead sky. Please underline this word lead. Lead here means very important word, lead sky, and this is again a metaphor, because lead is a metal and sky, these are two different things, but the color of the sky and the color of the metal lead, they are similar, they are compared here, and this is again a metaphor that is used here, a lead sky. So he says that the sky was lead. Please underline the word lead, because lead here means dull, shineless. So the sky was lead because it was having no shine, it was not shiny at all, it was a dull sky, colorless sky, which was to be seen from these windows. Far, far from rivers, capes and stars of words, means the world of these children was far away from the rivers, because they had not seen any river ever. They had no opportunity, they had never got a chance to go out and enjoy a bath in a river. They never had seen a river ever. And please underline this word capes. Capes here means mountains. So they never had got a chance to go and enjoy the beautiful air, the fresh air of a mountain. They could not they could not imagine what kind of capes are there in the world to be found. And again, the last thing. Stars of words, very important phrase. Please underline this, stars of words, because stars of words here means that the children and their life was away from the stars of words, means from education. Here there is a symbolic meaning of stars of words. There are two meanings. Number one, that they are away from education because they did not have got that opportunity to get a good education. Maybe they are coming to a classroom, they are studying in a school, but that elementary school is actually devoid of civic amenities. It is devoid of basic amenities, and basic facilities are not provided to the children because the classroom was ill lit. There was no paint that was done on the walls, and because of that the badly painted walls, they started giving very foul and bad smell was coming out of them. And at the same time, the Stephen Spender, the poet, he had noticed that these children never got a chance to go to any river or to enjoy natural beauty of a mountain, and they were away from stars of words, means they were always away from the education, means they never got good education facilities. And there is another meaning of stars of words here, means because write it down in your books only. Stars of words here means the false promises made by politicians, because politicians, they generally come to these schools and these areas during elections, and they throw a lot of big promises to these children and their parents and the people of slums, that they would do this, they would do that. But generally these are only stars of words, means they are fake promises, never to be fulfilled, never to be made by these politicians. So these children, they are far away from the promises made by the politicians. They are far away from the natural beauty of mountains and rivers. So maybe we have done two paragraphs of this poem today, and in the next class we will go and read the second, third and fourth paragraph also. I hope you will get an idea what Stephen Spender had noticed by visiting this classroom which was located in a slum area, or this school. Till then, maybe in the next class we will continue. Till then, take care of yourself. Thank you very much.